Ever wondered how you can get more money from selling your company, more money completing a project, all with little risk to the other person? Well, today we've got Chad Jenkins back with us again. He is the founder of SeedSpark and SeedSpark Academy. He's the award-winning author of Just Add Another Zero, Remove the Film, Outperform Your Competition, Grow Exponentially Through Collaboration. If you recall, welcome, Chad.
Thank you.
Thanks again for coming again.
Very excited to be here.
We talked about Just Add a Zero in your book launch, and I've had a lot of positive feedbacks about our conversation.
Wonderful.
And I wanted to get you back again to talk about something you told me a long time ago. Well, not a long time, it was only a few months ago. It feels like a long time ago in a positive way. I mean, future money.
Yes, future money.
I'm just going to leave it at that and let you expand on that concept of the future money, because to me that it's changed how I see any opportunities, any future clients, and potential deals that, I don't know, just completely changed my way of thinking of the traditional pay up front first.
Or the conventional. Yes.
Conventional, sorry.
Yes. So future money. It's interesting, this original concept was introduced to me by Dan Sullivan with Strategic Coach. And they talked about future money, and I'm just naturally curious, so I wanted to understand, one, what the heck is future money, and how can I get some of that future money? So it set me on a quest to understand how I could create something that was practically applicable to today's convention of business and somewhat make it unconventional. And what that led me to is the understanding that we as visionaries and entrepreneurs of our organizations actually have a responsibility, sitting in the visionary seat, to fully understand future money. And what I mean by that, or how that can be leveraged, is the last time that you thought of something that you wanted to do for your business, and the reason that you did is because you envisioned a much better outcome in the future. You then began to meet with your team to try to get them to buy into this, and most likely, and I would dare say very conventional, you uncover the reasons that you can never make this future reality become true, because one, you don't have the budget, the talent, the resources, or sometimes the time.
Yeah, the common problem with today's entrepreneur.
That's applicable to just about every one of them is absolutely obstacles through them reaching their full potential along their growth journey. And I would say embrace them. That really combines with another one of my theories and methodologies, which is friction. But applicable to future money, and most specifically to the entrepreneur, the visionary, being able to forecast into the future exactly what this new impact is going to have on your business. And when I say exactly, I mean all the way down to the penny. You live in the future. It's one thing we're responsible to do, to be visionaries. Some of us are plagued with that, and if you ask my wife, I live in the future most of the time. She finds it sometimes unfavorable. But in this particular scenario, working with your financial partner and understanding this grand vision that you have all the way out to exactly what the net profit is going to be. You remember earlier we spoke of those obstacles to growth. One of those was budget.
Money.
So if you knew that this new idea that you had to impact positively your business, if you just had the resources, you would create, hypothetically, $10 million more of revenue next year, and that would net, with your margin in your organization, $2 million of profit, net profit. So do we really have an issue with budget? I don't think so.
That's also mindset and traditional thinking.
Because we don't.
And I'm using tradition versus conventional, because tradition is, we always think this way with no real logic. Well, convention is more of an action. Conventional, like, to me, that really got me about this is conventional accounting is your company's worth X because of the past.
Sure.
Therefore, you can only get Y.
As cash to help fuel its growth today.
Right. But if we're going to talk to, say, buying a company or selling a company, is okay, on paper it's worth X, but I know it's worth Z.
Yes.
But they might give you Y in between. So what I got out of this is you can give me X now, but I can get Z depending on future money with promises. So that's lower risk. That's what I got from it, was this lower risk to them.
Immense amount of lower
and
risk.
then also gets you a little more motivated to make sure you execute the promises you make.
In this scenario. So we'll paint a picture for those that this is a new concept. Similar to what I was mentioning earlier, let's say that I have this grandiose idea and it's for one of my organizations. And truly, if we're successful, well, let me say that differently. When we are successful, it is $10 million of revenue more next year. And this particular organization does run at about a 22% net profit. So it's 2.2 million of net profit. I'll raise my hand to take that deal. So armed and empowered with the outcome of future money, now I've got a budget of 2.2 million to play with. Now I'd like to keep all 2.2 million, but I would also be very open to sharing some of that with anyone else who can make this dream come true. What you'll find when you have this type of mindset is that you're able to take a portion of the 2.2, which I would dare say, and I've used this many times in the past, most will respond half. I'd be happy to have another $1 million next year, or 1.1 in this exact scenario. So you're armed with now 1.1 million of additional budget that you can go deploy to create this outcome. And I would say the strong differences just foundationally in this mindset is that whenever you're armed with this now new budget, it completely shifts the way that you think about the opportunity. It also completely shifts the engagements that you'll take, because now I'm armed with paying someone a lot more margin than they would get with their industry conventions. The only thing that I request of them is we partner on the outcome.
Partner on the outcome.
Being confident in what you do, my term for that is understanding your unique value contribution, which you are the best in the world at doing. I did not say that you were a plumber or an HVAC technician or a marketer. You run paid ads or display, or maybe you're a brick mason. None of that. What is your unique value contribution? So it's the way in which you do what you do, because that you'll have the most amount of confidence in. And in this particular scenario where you're operating on future money and you're looking for partnerships, heck, I'm okay to pay them double. Why? Because it's money that I don't even have today, that with my partnership, or I would argue collaboration with this product or service provider, I begin to share with them and create a lifelong relationship. I've had many of those that I've done in all different types of industries over the last 15 or 20 years, because I, just the same as most people listening, didn't have a big bank account, but I had big ideas and I knew ways to create big value. I just needed the right partners to help me along my growth journey and leveraging this future money. And here's an absolutely fundamental rule. You must establish and be very transparent on when success begins to happen. And I'll put that in a lot more context. Understanding that in this hypothetical example that we're walking through, success happens when we have a new sign up. And this sign up, hypothetically, brings $500 of revenue in. And in the normal course of, we'll just pick marketing, 3 to 6% of top line revenue, right? So you backed into the numbers as I said them. But in this scenario, let's say that when success happens and we create $500 of revenue, and this partner, this collaboration partner now, is working with me, instead of them getting 3 to 6%, which we know exactly what that would be, they're going to get $75 every time we have a sign up. And that is most likely going to happen, and this is where they come in, based upon their confidence of creating the outcome in the first 3 weeks. Because they're enamored with the outcome, and they're able to put their best people on the job, including the person that you're talking to that might own the small to medium-sized business. Because they didn't create a proposal and do it the conventional way and write down all the bullet points that they were going to be required to, because you can hold them accountable, right? It's in black and white. You can take them to court.
That's the point. We got to be writing this stuff down.
But
sorry, I just want to, and especially when you said be transparent and identify when the success begins.
You must share in success very proactively.
Right.
So the convention is I write you a proposal. You're going to hold me to the bullet points that I put on this proposal. The second that you sign, I'm committed to do X, Y, and Z for this fee. Well, I'd love to let anyone in my organization provide that. I need to move on to the next one because I understand exactly what the outcome is going to be. How can I get scale with that? You change the paradigm. When you come to me with an opportunity that enables me to double the conventional margins in my industry, and you're transparent with what success looks like, and I'm fully aware that when success happens, dollars are going to start dropping into my account, then I want to engage the entire team that I have around this opportunity. I'm doubling my margin. Why would I not want to do that? And tomorrow when something changes, wish we could see a show of hands, every business dealing that you've ever entered into and you signed ink on a piece of paper, and you are the service provider, or you're going to have the services provided to you, how often do they change? In 24 hours, something changes about this deal.
Yes.
But we signed it yesterday, right? I'm the one who's committing to give you these products and services only specific to what I wrote. Now, if I'm worth my salt, I do want a very positive outcome for you. That's true. But what am I committed to? It's the products and services or the bullet points that I've written in that proposal. Now you're giving me an opportunity to truly collaborate on the outcome, and I want to put my absolute best foot forward because what? There is no ceiling. The better of an outcome that I can provide to you with my competence, with my unique value contribution, the better it's going to be for both of us. So now we're more true, what I would classify as true collaboration partners. Because when success begins to happen, we not only participate with the first time, but every time that it happens after that.
Okay, basically what I just heard there, transactional services, I will do XYZ for a fee.
The old school way.
The old school way. But now with Fruits Your Money, you're talking about I'm going to commit to XYZ for, XYZ for us Canadians, XYZ for a percentage of future success.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big
exactly
change.
How that's going to shake out. Absolutely.
Yeah. But that's two different levels of commitment. A fixed fee is I'm only going to do enough to get that, not necessarily more.
Yeah.
But if I'm thinking of a perception, if we all succeed or grow, we get bigger success. And what I like about that is, like you said, you empower yourself for future money with other people's help. But I completely forget where I was going to go with this.
That's okay.
But this is where I want the listeners to understand. It's X, Y, Z, or Z for a percentage
Of the outcome.
of the outcome.
You and I are in lockstep now.
Yeah.
I'm not providing services, and I wish you the absolute best. Someone in my organization is going to be communicating with you tomorrow, and thank you for writing the check. And now we're partnered on the outcome, and the outcome doesn't have to be defined to a certain period. Why would we not keep going if we figured out a better mousetrap? By approaching business this way, it empowers you to create, and I mentioned it earlier, lifelong relationships. Here's one thing it also empowers you not to have to do. You never have to fire anyone.
Yeah.
This outcome that I came up with, and let's just say you're my marketing partner, and in our conversations, just as a current convention of conversations, you're super excited about the opportunity. And you feel very confident you can create this outcome, and we begin to get leads or marketing qualified leads or sales qualified leads within an X period of time. How many of us have heard that before, went ahead and written the 30K check or the 20 grand a month check, and 3 months come and go and there are no sales qualified leads. We've gotten a couple marketing qualified leads. And then 2 or 3 more months come because there was really good promise. We're getting great interaction on our website. 2 more months come, no outcome. Then whose responsibility is it to end that relationship? Because it's obviously not working.
Right.
It's never the marketing partner that comes back and says, look, I'm so sorry, this is not working. We did our best, it just didn't work, and we're going to politely decline and exit the relationship. In this scenario, they put their absolute best foot forward, and sometimes it does not work out, and when it doesn't, we stop the bleeding, both of us, immediately.
Right. Yep.
Because we're partner on the outcome.
Right.
I've had this happen before, this exact scenario where the service provider, it wasn't marketing, but they did return, and it truly was not working. What did work, because this organization was young and they were very aspirational, it's a great way to put it, they were also very talented. What they were not as clued in on is their unique value contribution.
Yes.
So truly they were unable to produce the exact outcome, but they uncovered their unique value contribution, and I'm still working with that particular service provider today. Because once they understood their unique value contribution, they had the level of confidence to continue working on future money and partnering this particular way.
What I like, the way you describe and explain future money, like, yes, I remember Dan Solomon explaining it.
Mm-hmm.
It's very good. Like, I like strategic coaches. We think about our thinking and we just think about differently. But the connection between the thinking part to the how,
Practical.
this is where you really do very well. And then now the future money, to me, it's a pure collaboration tool.
Absolutely.
And the more we're talking about here, and I think you're right, it's almost a visionary tool because we do have to be thinking about the future almost constantly.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I like about it. And you know, this is not just only to sell a product or sell a company. This is like for any opportunity, which I'm starting to see, and I've been applying it more as an opportunity filter,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if there's no future money in it, beside, like, because even just for the listeners to understand, like with my engineering consulting, I will do set tasks for X dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't really consider that future money. That's already been assigned. It's almost past money, and there's really nothing to go beyond that except extras.
The deal is done.
The deal is done.
We just have
it's
to
a different
provide what we said we
mindset.
would. Correct.
But like me and you, we got in common is there's no finish line for better.
Mm-mm.
And what I like, that's what I was actually trying to get to the last time doing this collaboration future money thing. Potentially, there's never a finish line.
There isn't.
It's always a continual growth,
Mm-hmm.
betterment, and that's what I like about.
Definitely my internal wiring is better is infinite. This concept that we shared today, future money, which was again brought to us originally by Dan Sullivan, I just made it operational in this context.
And that's one of your UVCs, unique capability contribution. Value, sorry.
Value. That's okay.
Contribution is to make it real or to be able to understand it practically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny. My downfall is that it has to be simple for me to understand it. So when I'm exposed to these concepts by others, my brain immediately goes to, okay, well, how can I personally utilize that? First, to understand it, second, to make it operational, and now third, as I continue on my own growth journey, how can I empower others to think in a similar fashion? So leveraging future money is not 20% year-over-year growth.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can all agree. I don't believe entrepreneurs wake up in the morning from a wonderful dream and it ties out to be a 20% year-over-year growth either. There hasn't been a mechanism that makes it real-world reachable to empower them to take those dreams and make them a reality. I feel like future money as an operational and growth strategy is one of those that can empower them to capture that dream that they had last evening and really unpack it, working with their financial partner, their CFO, or even the bookkeeper or controller, and saying, hey, if we do this, what's going to be the real outcome? And now they're empowered to go look for the best on the planet to create that outcome, because it's not about budget, the cash that they have in their bank account.
It's fair.
And it's fair. And it's fair.
And there's less of an imbalance.
Yeah. How many clients would you need? And all of us, I assume, that are listening to this are in business, or businesses, I probably should say. How many additional clients would you need if you were able to double or triple the margin that you currently get off your normal engagements? A lot less.
Mm-hmm.
And less is a little easier to manage.
More personal relationships too, your clients.
Yes, because you're coming to it from a place that you're creating big and recurring and consistent value, just driven by future money. So leveraging exactly what you've been given, sometimes being chastised for, that you're a big dreamer and you come in every other day with a better and bigger idea. And I'm saying,
It's conventional thinking fighting you there.
yes, leverage future money to now empower you to create those outcomes that you woke up this morning dreaming about.
Amazing. I love how you just reframe that. Like you said, simplify it down for clarity. And I think right now there's enough here for the listeners to process this. Because this is a big one. Like for me, it's a big one that just completely changes the outcome of my future.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm using a lot of bad puns here, but it's the truth. So what I really liked about it was additional budget, future budget. If you can't see that down the road, then that means you're going to get more money. Therefore, we're always stuck with we need money in the bank now. Like when I first hired, I don't have enough money to hire someone. Well, what if how many more jobs can you get to pay the person? Like, oh, that's using the future money concept.
You just covered something for me personally. Speaking about Dan, one of the 4 freedoms of entrepreneurs that we've been exposed to, cash confidence, freedom of money. When you operate on future
You're talking
money,
about, oh wow, that's a completely,
you just tie them together.
that's another episode.
Very possibly. Yeah, but
So it's not just cash confidence today, it's also about the future cash confidence.
Yeah, if you have enough money for your next big idea, you have cash confidence.
But not money in my pocket right now is what you're referring.
Money in my pocket, applicable to the commitments I've already made,
Right, yeah.
is absolutely responsibility. Playing in the ether on future money is where you begin to empower yourself to take advantage of real and exponential growth. So relating future money back to cash confidence, if you don't have money for payroll this week, we have a different conversation.
Correct.
But if you have payroll and current payables forecasted into the future, and I would like to say 90 days, but we'll go back even with 30, depending on how quickly success begins to happen, then you're able to leverage future money and operate with cash confidence. Because now, even in the scenario that I gave, I have a $1.1 million budget to go out the best people on the planet. And they get to win too. In business, we always hear about, oh, it's a win-win. Really? I only operate in win-wins. Everyone has to win. This is a way that everyone
And it's a
can.
fair win-win, not a lopsided one. One wins more than the other.
I've been on the receiving end of this, certainly in my software development organization. They want a full scope. This is a custom software company. We are creating and impacting their current business processes and how their team interacts with them to drive efficiency. So it truly is creating things a little bit out of thin air. But at the beginning, and some of these projects are many multiples of millions, they want a full scope, which is, to me, counterproductive to the creative process. How about we deal in outcomes? Tell me what success looks like. And even in my software development company, I do these. If I can understand how what we're going to do is going to possibly impact your business, and I'm confident in you being able to do your part, why in the heck would I do that? Because the second that you sign this big, long scope document and agreement, we send each organization down a very unfavorable path of change orders or scope creep, which begins to jeopardize your margin. When ultimately, if you're entering a business relationship, the only reason you're doing that is to create a bigger outcome.
Yeah.
I just see it creating a bigger outcome for both parties, or in many instances, all parties involved. Because you're not going to take that $1.1 million budget, hopefully, and give it to one partner. You can do that and spread it around.
So one last point, but you're talking about making sure we have cash confidence to hit payroll.
Yes.
Right, but I think that's present company. What I think we're talking about is actually future company.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is that cash flow is
where
so we do need the cash flow for today, which is the present company, but I think what we're talking about here is the future company with future money.
Yes.
So there's another
company
time there.
When you woke up in the morning, you wanted to create. The one you dreamt about last evening. Here's a strategy, a growth strategy that you can leverage to create that company, make it a reality.
Yeah.
And have fun with the people that you're working with.
So what we're talking there is about the additional budget. Big ideas, big value, and no big money in your pocket, but basing on the future, which I like that additional budget. And then one thing you said, I don't think you really caught on, which I think was very important for everyone to understand, is continuing personal growth is the only way you can help others grow. And I really like that concept, because a lot of people are wondering why you spend money on this, on coaching, all this stuff on learning more. Well, the more I grow and understand myself, I can help a lot of other people, especially my clients and my team. And then everyone's growing and everyone's succeeding. So, wow, lots here to unpack. So thanks again, Chad, for your time. Absolutely. Where can people connect with you?
Very easy to find me, of course, on LinkedIn. And an organization that I spend the most amount of my time with is my Seed Spark, and it's most specifically with my growth partners, which growth partners are all over the world and all different types of businesses. So seedspark.com is where you can go to learn a little bit more about the way that we leverage Future Money.
And I highly
collaborations.
recommend that.
Thank
Check out C Spark.
Thank you. All right. And myself personally, on LinkedIn is probably the easiest way.
Okay,
Thanks
cool.
for asking.
And for, the biggest takeaway I want the listeners to take here is that thinking future money changes how you look at opportunities. And it's a unique value way of looking at things. And for you listener, where can you apply this ASAP? Today, now. I bet you as you're driving, listening, there's probably 200 million ideas going through that ADHD brain of yours, and I love it. I can feel it. So thanks again for listening, and thanks for learning with me. Thanks, Chad.
Thank you very much, Andre.